Everybody should do in their lifetime sometime two things. One, everybody should do in their lifetime sometime two things. One is to consider death. That is a very gloomy thing for contemplation. The contemplation of death and the acceptance of death is very highly.
Yo.
What up, IT?
How you doing, brother?
Walaikum salam, rahmatullah, IT. I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, man. Just out here. Nice to see you. You know what I'm saying? Fresh
You
cut.
too, man.
Out here looking. You know what I'm saying? Legendary.
You got to keep it COVID fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, listen, bro. Look, you're the first guy I have on the live that's Canadian like me, man. So, you know what I'm saying? We just need to take a moment to salute it. I'm about to just play the Canadian national anthem right now. And we'll start it up that way. No, I'm just playing.
I'll go grab my maple syrup and take a couple sips out of it.
Your bagged milk?
Hey.
Trust, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's all good.
It's good to see that you're doing well. I mean, Mental Arts Dojo 14, TRP IT, Stasis, 2/3, 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah, here's the thing. I'm lost. I'm listening to this thing. I'm like, yo, what is this guy talking about? Sounds dope. Need some information.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can kind of kick us the verse, I guess the second part 2 out of 3, and then we can kind of run through your process.
Yeah. For context, I'll just kind of speed through it all. It just kind of in acapella. So, first part, suspended in frost, moving as fast as a moment where everything pauses. Got adrenaline striking like lightning direct to the heart, elevating my pulses. A reminder that I've been a pawn in the hands of my shadow and cast where it's darkest. Been a slave to mentality, thinking the stars were the boss. Want to talk about losses? Chronology, stagnant psychology, follow me. Calling these patterns of prophecy policy. Swallowing photons in and out venom to poison the iris till pebbles look like the apocalypse. Viruses spreading the dread and more tangled the rope. The thicker the thread that we hang on our neck. We gasping for every breath but don't know what the cause is. Preposterous. I'm a certified monster and you're gonna acknowledge this. I'm taking control of the fate. I don't know when I'm putting it right where my palm is. Could believe in the magical path to the goal that they show us, but let me be honest. Got to keep it 100. I'd rather be behind the scenes where the Wizard of Oz is forming a holy dystopia. I'm blessed with a beautiful phobia. The coldest emotions are cold and you're holding the notion the nation eroding, exposing the pulsating masses and know-it-alls. So covered in sucrose, I'm throwing up. The stories they told are getting old. Unproven theories are printed in bold, news like in follow-up. They don't listen to none of us. But this internet viral pollution producing consumers, excuse me, Sir Isaac Newton, but we've fallen up to a place that can't follow us. Like it was written deep in the novels with pages, the rhythm, the covers unbound, the messages within if you listen. Written meticulous, hidden in trails left by the 7 deadly notes. Awaiting division, heavy descending like scales from heavenly abodes. Binary lenses on pictures cover the culture row after row. No souls, just ones and O's. Let it go like dominoes hit the flow, tipping all individuals, lawless and miserable. But the ones that understand and the ones left standing are too few, basically the one of two hues intertwined for lines you view, so I fight for my soul to uphold the barcode. Pros already know that there's more to unload, the truth untold. If you don't, you now know. Stay light on toes, but as far as the bars go, they heavy as a double kick bass guitar show. That's dense though. Metal is the lead in my pencil. Fears outlined like a stencil. Fleeing the scene of the cremation of cares, throw them up in the air and let the ash rain down torrential. Putting all my doubts on defense to keep my heart off the bench till my name's its own credential. I try to keep it hospitable, but if anybody dare, I take them and send them where? People that don't get good in the hospital go, because I'm colder than death holding a popsicle though.
So right now I'm suspended in frost though. Come on.
Absolutely.
I got the follower book too.
Absolutely.
IT bars.
Yeah.
First of all, the repetition of sounds, phenomenal. Every piece is sick.
Thank you, man.
Off rip, right?
Thank you, man.
So for this breakdown, we were kind of focusing on part 2 from the forming the holy dystopia. Yeah. So quick thing with Stasis. Is that like the thing that Captain America was going through? Is that what it was? Or?
Basically. So I mean, let's get this started from the absolute beginning, just like the verse. Mm-hmm. So this verse was inspired by a game that I've been spending way too much time in. It's a game called Destiny 2. I know my buddy Sandro is watching this too. We're about to get ready to get back into that. But so this instrumental that I chose to kind of rhyme on top of It was it's a part of the game, and it's a part of like a really, really tense part of the game. These raids, they're super involving, mechanically demanding, and everything. And right after you do this crazy thing, it's a super high like demanding encounter. You go outside and you kind of get this beautiful instrumental that just comes out of nowhere, and you're stuck kind of floating around in space. You can't even really hear what's going on. Things are still shooting at you, but you're kind of bombarded with this really somber, really instrumental and powerful song, just kind of out of nowhere. It took everyone by surprise the first time they heard it, and I got to admit, like I loved it the first time I heard it. It took me a second to even want to write to it, but like it just kind of made sense.
Yo,
so Stasis actually is also a throwback to the game too. It's something that people kind of play that game would kind of know, but it comes from a place of being frozen in suspended animation, just kind of being frozen in stasis. So the entire song is two metaphors kind of rolled into one. It's 2020, so the entire song is about 2020. It's about kind of how people were frozen in 2020, how people couldn't move. They wanted to, they just couldn't move. And it's kind of the same thing that is kind of going on personally in my own life, because like there's points where I kind of want to make certain moves, but you just can't for whatever reason, logistically, because of the 2020, or just because of this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of the whole theme of Stasis, is kind of the duality, what's happening in the world and what's happening kind of inside myself.
Okay, and that's kind of like intertwined. Okay, I have just a quick comment. Like, some games just have the soundtrack it's just bumping, like the Halo theme.
Yeah.
So, you know
absolutely. So guess who made Halo? Guess who made Destiny?
That you did that.
It's the exact same company that made Halo and Destiny.
Oh, Bungie? It's the same Bungie?
Absolutely.
Salute to Bungie, man.
Yeah, they do a good job with
their soundtrack. I played the Destiny beta, the first one, the beta. Phenomenal game. Super fun.
Yeah.
But okay,
absolutely.
so can you kind of run us down through this, the way that you pen something like this, right? You're kind of 2020, you're stuck in the house. Yeah, you're showing the external,
like everyone should have been.
Battles. You know what I'm saying? You got everything kind of flowing. Kind of take us through this piece.
All right, so the first part of it, I'm establishing the patterns. I'm establishing kind of the flow, the kind of syncopation that you can expect. So the whole first thing is establishing the structure. I wanted to put as many rhymes in there, and I wanted to kind of obey, as I call the bar code, the code of the bars, like, you know what I'm saying? The rules of the bars. So I wanted to obey that. I wanted to train and tailor the listener to understand what's going on. And then the second part of the bars, the second part that we're talking about now, I wanted to break down every expectation. I wanted to take your expectations, your conditioning, and kind of play around with them. So that's why the rhymes don't fall where they should. That's why there's a lot more negative space. Everything was kind of done intentionally to kind of throw things off. So where I say I'm forming a holy dystopia, pause. Blessed with a beautiful phobia, pause. The coldest emotions are coding you, holding the notion, the nation eroding. The rhyme should have happened there. But then I say eroding, exposing the pulsating masses of know-it-alls. So covered in secrets I'm throwing up. So like I kind of shifted where the rhyme structure is actually happening. So I make it so that it's a little bit more entertaining. It's kind of one, we talked about this actually just last week in a creative writing course. It's kind of like one of these gas station moments where you can kind of, it kind of energizes you to carry forward with it. So it's that intrigue. So that's why, like I said, the first part of the bars was establishing the pattern. The second part was breaking the barcode, so to speak.
So I noticed there was a shift towards the end, kind of where it was like the flow kind of was like way off, and I was like, "Yo, this guy spent so much time like pocketing the flow." I was like, "Yo, did he just rush at the end? Like, yo, what's going on?" It's like, "Nah, there's more to it. There's no chance, you know."
Absolutely. Yeah, that matches the crescendo that was happening in the instrumental at the time, and that's another thing. I purposely chose to write, because I could have easily put a beat to the instrumental. But I chose to write to the instrumental as a pure instrumental. I didn't want to be limited by an actual beat, the pattern, to kind of dictate the flow. I wanted to see how can I play with something that's in tempo, like the instrumental is in tempo. It's got its time signature, but I wanted to play with it and kind of float in and out of the beats, but still kind of be on time, and then have the ability to just kind of change up the syncopation, because there's nothing limiting it. You know what I mean?
There's no drums that are gonna kind of hold you to a certain thing.
Exactly.
You can kind of step back and find a different pocket and kind of just keep coming back to it, in a sense, right?
Exactly.
Okay, dope. So you got the bars kind of shifted. You're setting up the barcode, and then you're giving us a standard, and then you're breaking the standard. Basically, you're getting listener accustomed to it, and you're breaking that, right?
Yeah.
So when you do that with that intention, is that also tied into the metaphors in a certain way?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So basically, the entire thing is, I love painting in the most morose of colors, the most disgusting and obnoxious of colors. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to do something completely different in a color palette that people don't expect. So this entire, like, the words I'm using are very negative, very kind of like, I'm using pulsating, I'm using like the nation's eroding, I'm talking about this, that, and the third. But if you take it at face value, you think I'm talking about the disillusion of society, because I'm talking about dystopias at that point. But at the same time, it's a holy dystopia. You know what I'm saying? So you could take it as taking something good and making it bad, or you're taking the good out of the bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm finding the holy parts of the dystopia. So that's why I chose the color palette that I chose with this. All the words are kind of negative, but I'm trying to kind of convey a good message out of it. I'm trying to convey
the good
kind
of
of
bad.
what can be happening. Absolutely.
Okay. And that's kind of the whole COVID situation, 2020. Okay. And just even you going over that, the holy dystopia, beautiful phobia, it's two like oxymorons, like back to back, kind of carrying that piece. Yeah. It's dope IT. Okay. So maybe kind of take us through the bars, kind of the story you're giving us to the listener, kind of, because there's a lot. It's very lyrically dense. It's very heavy on the words. It's kind of like, yo, like, we need a breakdown on this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, it was unapologetic. I mean, I usually don't go this deep into things, but I was like, another thing that I'm very, very influenced by what's happening with the ITs. You know what I'm saying? When Ivory IT was kind of explaining his bars, and he said he was unapologetic with it, like, I kind of already wrote the first part of it, and I was still writing, like, at that point, and I was like, you know what? He's right. He's right. Why do I need to simplify this? Why do I need to keep people's expectations? So snap. That's where the second part of the bars come in.
That adds another whole layer to the same meaning again. You're just taking your standard, you're kind of just going with it.
Yeah. So I'm forming a holy dystopia blessed with a beautiful phobia. So what that means is basically, like, in my own mind and in society, like, we kind of set up our societal norms. We've kind of set up our expectations, and things just broke down. Things just kind of, this COVID thing happened, and all of a sudden we're seeing people off the streets. We're seeing wildlife take back over the streets. In Japan, we saw like a bunch of wild animals in the middle of Tokyo Square, which is crazy. And it leads you towards those visuals of like a dystopian future where like mankind is kind of clinging to the last embers of that flame. So like that holy dystopia, I'm blessed with a beautiful phobia. So everyone's kind of afraid of each other. But at the same time, like, people were kind of forming these new circles. People were finding new ways to communicate with each other, just like this IG Live thing. Like, not a lot of people were doing the IG Lives before, but it blew way up as soon as we couldn't meet face to face. Everyone was doing this, and it kind of opened up a lot more doorways, like Clubhouse. That's another example. That's an amazing thing that I never thought I'd be a part of, but it's like, why not? It just makes sense. So I'm holding the notion the nation eroding, exposing the pulsating masses of know-it-alls. So I'm holding the notion the nation eroding, basically, like, I'm seeing things fall apart, and it's exposing the masses of know-it-all. So like, everyone kind of, you know that whole internet security. People can be keyboard warriors. They can hide behind whatever. But like, now everyone's behind the keyboards, and everyone is kind of in that same space. So people are kind of like where things were going unchecked before, like I'm seeing a lot more checks and balances in that. I'm not saying it's all disappeared, but I'm just saying everyone's in the same space. Everyone is kind of doing their own fact checking now. So where we're exposing the masses of know-it-alls, but at the same time, they can kind of be flipped. The masses of know-it-alls. We're all digital. We're all learning from a distance. So all of us are starting to know a lot more. So the masses are starting to know it all. You know what I'm saying? So covered in sucrose, I'm throwing up. That's obviously like messages being sugar coated and things like that. Sometimes you can kind of you need a little bit of the bitter to go with the sweet. Sometimes an overload of one kind of just overpowers things. So the things I was told are getting old. Unproven theories are printed in bold. Obviously, that whole fake news thing, things like that, or people stuck in their own mind because they're kind of trapped in their own space. So they're coming to their own conclusions. They're coming to their own kind of. They're putting themselves in their own dystopias. They're putting themselves in their own things, own prisons. So news like and follow up, they don't listen to none of us, but this internet viral pollution producing consumers, excuse me, Sir Isaac Newton, but we've fallen up. So basically what I'm saying there is even if nobody wanted to listen to us, like this is kind of a take on Black culture. They don't listen to any of us. So obviously everything that was happening last year, we had the Black Lives Matter, we have all of this stuff. But at the same time, if you look at the coin, look at entertainment, Black culture is on top of everything. Like Black culture influences everything. They don't listen to none of us. So, but this internet viral pollution producing consumers. So even though we're all stuck behind the internet, even though we're all stuck behind these walls, and people are kind of saying like, people are fighting for the Black Lives Matter. Like in terms of the entertainment, like that couldn't be more true. You know what I'm saying? We need the Black culture. That's why any of us are here, IT. You know what I'm saying?
Fact.
So excuse me, Sir Isaac Newton, we've fallen up. Obviously, a take on gravity. We're not being held down by these rules. We're elevating. You know what I'm saying?
And
so we're taking the loss and we're elevating.
I just like the alliteration of that previous bar, viral pollution producing consumer. Like, oh, okay, that's dope. Yeah. And I always love whenever they like you take like a concept and just flip it. Like the Isaac Newton falling up. To me, it is dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just sounds nice when somebody hits the reversal on it and gives it a different meaning. IT.
Absolutely, 100%. It's one of those gas station moments. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta take those expectations and flip them. So we're falling up to a place that can't follow us, like it was written deep in the novels where pages the rhythm, the covers unbound, the messages within. If you listen, basically this is setting up kind of the next few bars. It's basically saying don't take everything that you hear at face value. There's more to it if you listen, if you read into it, and if you really are paying attention. So where I say written meticulous, hidden in trails left by the 7 deadly notes, awaiting division, heavy descending like scales from heavenly abodes. So these two lines, what I mean is, so obviously, so there's a few different things. So written meticulous, obviously everything I'm talking about is intentional. Hidden in trails left by the 7 deadly notes. One interpretation of this, the 7 deadly notes, I'm talking about musical scales. I'm talking about the 7 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So those are the 7 deadly notes. Hidden in trails left by the 7 deadly notes. I'm talking about there's something hidden behind this music. Awaiting division, had me descending like scales from heavenly abodes. So scales are descending from the heavens. Talking about this music is coming from the heavens. So like had me descending like scales from heavenly abodes. I'm talking about it had me really appreciating the music. But the flip side to that, written meticulous, hidden trails left by the 7 deadly notes. Obviously, there's something else that's 7 and deadly. I'm talking sins. You know what I'm
7
saying?
deadly sins. Okay.
Exactly. So
and
being Muslim, we know.
It's like the scale? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So being a Muslim, you know where I'm talking about. Like there's some people that think that music is as forbidden as like alcohol or something like that. So I'm hidden in trails left by the 7 deadly notes, meaning there's something kind of meticulous hidden behind this thing. Waiting division, so waiting. I'm talking about weight. I'm talking about like actual physical mass. Waiting divisions have me descending like scales from heavenly abodes. I'm talking about how I'm coming down on the scales from the heavens because the music is weighing me down.
And
You know
then
what
the
I'm
weight
saying?
division between the people descending,
Absolutely.
also the notes going up and down on the piano.
I'm also talking about how I'm in that weight division. I'm in that heavyweight division where like you put the music on the one side and you can see that I'm heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's a third interpretation of this. So descending like scales from heavenly abodes. So it had me descending like scales from heavenly abodes. There was something that had scales in the heavens that had people descending. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about that snake. I'm talking about the snake that had Adam descending from the heavens. So like I'm saying, like, again, this is my whole internal battle with music. Like, is music the apple that the snake kind of had me bite into, that had me descending like from the heavenly abodes? You know what I'm saying? So there's kind of those
it's that internal
interpretations.
dilemma of like, yo, do I pursue
Absolutely.
this? Do I not? What's going on?
Absolutely.
I feel you.
So
100%.
yeah.
Bars.
So
bars.
yeah. Thank you, man. Thank
I'm
you,
trying
man.
to just understand what this guy's talking about, man. Like those 2 lines, I'm like, yo, what is he saying?
Yeah.
What is he saying? 100%.
Yeah. Again, I was again, I'm influenced by all the ITs, especially some of the apprentice, the journeymans, everyone from Lux Primus, Full Circle, and from the masters and the grandmasters. So I was listening to a lot of Aesop rock. So like Lupe loves Aesop rock, and like I've developed an absolute love for the guy too. Like the way that he can talk about nothing and make it sound so interesting. Like he talks about his kids not wanting to eat their vegetables and made like a 5-minute song out of it, and it was entertaining all the way through. You know what I'm saying? So
I remember
like
he
it
made
all
a
just
song about his cat too one time.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
remember like my buddy had taken me to one of his shows, and I wasn't really familiar with the work. This was like way like 2016, 2017, right? And after the song, he's like, "Yo, you know he's talking about his cat, right?" Yo, what? IT
Yeah,
is
exactly.
crazy.
You can read so far into something, but it's like, no, I was just talking about my cat. It's like it's just those are the type of bars I love. Just when you can make your own meaning out of it, and like, yeah, he's kind of he's tongue in cheek there. Like it was probably more than just his cat, but like it was written about his cat in a way that you could use that whole that you can abstract it to anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So continuing with the bars, I'm saying binary lenses binary lenses on pictures color the culture row after row. So basically, I'm kind of setting up. In this point, I'll be unapologetic. I was setting up the image of a barcode. So binary lenses on pictures, so everything starts to become black and white like a barcode. So color the culture row after row. So I'm talking about everything standing up row after row, white, black, white, black. It's that whole pattern. No souls, just ones and O's, because things are code. Everything boils down to the codes.
My bad, IT. I got a question for you. With the
Either.
barcode piece, does that tie back into the whole sins on a scale thing? Good deeds versus the bad deeds, the black and the white. Not to say that black is bad and white is good, like some Muhammad Ali dictionary thing. That's not what I mean. I mean like in terms of like how you're looking at the yin and the yang. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that piece.
I want to be serendipitous and say yes, but you kind of just put the new spin on that. You know what I'm saying? So
it might be just like a subconscious thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely,
it was written that way, balancing the forces of good and evil, kind of. It's fine.
Absolutely, the ones and the O's. You know what I'm saying? So everything is binary. Everything is one side or the other side. So no souls, just ones and O's. Let it go like dominoes. Hit the flow. So basically, I'm standing everything up, but I'm saying at one point this thing's got to tilt. So everything's going to start tilting like the dominoes. So this barcode is going to fall over, kind of like what I've been doing in this whole section of the bars. I've been setting up the patterns and just tipping it over, just watching it all just kind of cascade and become something else.
And the way the dominoes too, the color scheme of the dominoes. Come on, IT. Come on, man. Come on. It's too nice. It's too nice.
I had to go there.
It's too nice.
So tipping all individuals, lawless and miserable. But the ones that understand and the ones left standing are too few. Basically, they're one of two hues, again, bringing back the whole black and the white thing. Intertwined to the lines you view. So I fight for my soul to uphold the barcode. So basically, I'm saying, like, again, bringing in the whole visual of the barcodes, I'm saying the people who know, they know. You know what I'm saying? The people who want to listen, who want to kind of do the deep dives that SOSA ITs do, want to do the deep dives that the backpackers do. You know what I'm saying? The people on Genius, like they'll know. They'll know. They might not be the majority. They're too few, but at the same time, I fight with my soul to uphold the barcode. Meaning, I fight with my soul to uphold the expectations I have from bars. You know what I'm saying?
And kind of at the same time, not to reveal anything, but the whole barcodes piece kind of has another meaning, kind of with
Absolutely.
with Lux Primus, I know, and it's just kind of like the clash of the full circle Lux Primus. So it's kind of like a thing, you know. You kind of come to the table, you know. At the same time,
absolutely.
I feel like it's like a dope piece because there's so many layers, but at the same time, I feel like towards the end, it's like it shows more of the internal, yet like it reflects both sides of it perfectly. Because it's like, for me, somebody who's going through that same battle with making like tracks, right? I see the whole piece. It's like, yo, you know, you're trying to find the good in it. You know what I mean? You're trying to outweigh that, the balance, the scale, the whole aspect of it, and it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's fire, IT.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
100%. And so let me ask you something. When you're penning something like this, I know you said in the beginning you had written the first part, kind of seeing Ivory IT kind of go in depth a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Shouts to him. I know he just joined in. I was trying to name drop him real quick, you know, give him a little respect. You know what I'm saying?
It's all
good.
But
you kind of shifted it to kind of just go in as deep as possible, right? Is there any other pieces in this verse that you feel like we didn't touch up on that you wanted to, in terms of thinking, in terms of something maybe you were reading at the time, or something else that skewed it, that we can kind of get a little bit more into the mind of TRP IT?
Well, I mean, like, the entire thing was written as a continuous verse, but I'm kind of really only explaining like the middle third of it. Like, so again, the first part we talked about that like really briefly. It's setting up the patterns, and then the second part is snapping them. And then in the instrumental, there's a crescendo at the end, and that's where the flow flips again. So it stops kind of being the triplets, and it starts getting into kind of the more classical, the more kind of universally, I won't say universally accepted, because that's kind of whatever. People are kind of able to do whatever flows that they want. But I'm always interested in these moments of intrigue. I'm always interested in, like, when I'm listening to a song, even just the instrumental, I absolutely love when they set up a scale, and then out of nowhere, there's a scale change. So one note seems completely out of place, and I'm just like, you turn your head and you just kind of put that look on your face where you're just like, what was that? And then all of a sudden it kind of corrects itself and it becomes something else, and just like, man, that was crazy. And it could just be literally one note out of an entire like instrumental, but it was enough to throw you off balance, to throw you off of those scales, to kind of make that memorable and make it stand on its own. So that's what I'm kind of doing here. I'm taking flows. I'm taking the predictability of the first third, the unpredictability of the second, and then I'm ascending with that crescendo in the beat, or in the instrumental. Sorry, there's no beat in the instrumental, and I'm changing the flow again to kind of match the fuse that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who kind of are hip hop heads. So I kind of tailor back to the flow that is kind of accepted. So here I'm just having fun with it at this point. So like, I've kind of painted the morose picture. I painted all of these kind of things, and then I just have a little bit of fun with it, where I say, like, pros already know that there's more to unload, the truth untold. If you don't, you now know, stay light untold. But as far as the bars go, they heavy as a double kick bass guitar show. That's actually a kind of a throwback to my roots. So the double kick bass guitar, that's death metal. So if you listen to death metal, there's a lot of like really, really hard syncopations. Basically, everything is drowning in kick drum, and double kick bass guitar show. That's kind of saying my bars are as heavy metal. And how heavy are the heavy metal? Death metal. I'm talking about my bars are deadly heavy. That's why I end the whole piece with saying, I'll send them to where people that don't get good in the hospital go, because I'm colder than death holding a popsicle though. So I'm kind of playing around with obviously the image of death holding the sickle or the scythe. But I'm saying I'm colder than death holding the popsicle. You know what I'm saying?
IT, yo.
Because I'm suspended in
Yeah, I
frost.
didn't catch that popsicle piece. Yeah, it's bars.
Yeah, that's all good.
It's a
Like I
bar,
said, I was
it's a
just having
bar.
fun with it at the
Look,
end.
I'm gonna be real, man. Look, you had to. There needs to be a Timmy's bar somewhere here, man. Come on, like, yo. Now I'm playing,
Oh
but
man.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to say, based on your intentionality, like for me, hearing the piece, I feel like you pulled that off incredibly, because for me, listening to somebody who can tailor a flow that like in deep, like detailed, like so in the pocket, and then towards the end, it's like
Hey,
not. It's like what? Like it threw me off because I'm like,
exactly.
yo, how can you be so like there needs to be something behind this, you know what I'm saying? And then to come through with the intention, it's like, oh, like it caught me off guard, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't see, like, if
Exactly.
you see like a boxer like who's mad nice with their style, and then they just shift, it's like, huh? Like, you know what they're capable of, but then they kind of flipped it, hit you with that
Yeah.
unexpectedness, and you're like, huh?
They go
And
from
then, you know,
orthodox
it
to
makes you pay
southpaw.
attention, kind of. Exactly, right? And
Yeah.
that's super dope, IT. I feel like this
Thank you,
piece
man.
definitely killed it. I know you got the whole set on your current page, like the all. I think there's like four pieces maybe. Sampled down the
Yeah,
Watts.
there's an in yeah,
Yeah.
the Alan Watts again. That's kind of a throwback to the where it came from, because
Mm-hmm.
in the game you're met with this kind of security warning, and like this the muffledness of the voice and everything like that, and kind of the message that he's talking about really reminded me of Alan Watts.
Mm-hmm.
And again, bringing back the whole concept of serendipity, like I found a kind of a piece where he's talking about like how people should kind of think about two things in their life. One
Mm-hmm.
is death, and the other one is being selfish. So the entire first part is painted in kind of the pictures of the words of death. It's kind of painted in those colors, those really disgusting, everything's crumbling, it's a dystopia, those type of things. And then at the end, I'm just being selfish. I just wanted to have some fun. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to keep on topic. So
That's
like I
super
said,
ill.
that
That's
was
super ill.
extremely serendipitous. So like I can't take full credit for that, but I will. So
That's crazy.
take
Yeah,
that.
nah, IT. Listen, man. Look, you can cash app me. Actually, no, you're from Canada. You can PayPal me later.
Absolutely.
You already know. But here's the thing. So another piece I noticed with this is, did you purposely bring the whole scheme of like you gotta like either build or destroy? Because it kind of feels like the first thing you're kind of building it, then you destroy it, then you build it again. Is it in terms like that? Are you playing with that theme of like creation? That theme? Because I know a lot of like. Here's the thing. I know you're Muslim, and I know that there's a specific branch of kind of Islam in America, like the 5%ers. That's their saying, kind of build and destroy, kind of,
Yeah.
right? Was that kind of metaphor that you're playing with, or not really? It's just something that
I mean,
kind of came to be.
I, I can't say yes and I can't say no. I can
Mm-hmm.
say that like obviously I'm influenced by the things that I've kind of lived through.
Mm-hmm.
So the why did I choose to paint kind of something that could be interpreted as inspirational in really bleak colors?
Mm-hmm.
Is because of that whole build to destroy or destroy to build thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you gotta take the cards that you were dealt, even if they were the really the worst cards in the entire deck, and you got to play them. You have no choice. They're in your hands. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So like you got to take what you have and build with it. So that's
And,
2020.
and
That's
here's the thing.
2020.
Here's the thing. Taking that piece again to that part in the bar when you say it was written again. It's talking about predestiny, destiny, destiny
Absolutely.
2. Come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come on. Listen, bro. You're too
Yeah.
nice. You're too nice with it. That's too nice with it.
Man, it's all
You know what I'm
good.
saying? I feel like there's a lot of. I feel like there's more. I feel like there's a lot more to kind of unravel. Like I feel like if I were to like live in TRP shoes for like the day that you wrote this verse, there'd be so much more of like
Yeah.
things that would be like intriguing. You know what I'm saying? That help shape shift every little piece. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's really ill. It's a very dense piece. I feel like, and I feel like I wish I had kind of like paid more attention to all three parts. Maybe I could have came through with like a 3-part breakdown.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, yo. There's
Yeah.
a lot going on, man.
It,
There's a lot going on.
it's all good. I'm not even explaining a lot of kind of my own alternate takes of this, because I
Mm-hmm.
want that ambiguity to kind of roll out. I want that ambiguity to kind of like linger Want people to kind of speculate. Well, was he also thinking this? Was he also thinking that? And I might have been. I mean, like, I'm not going to say no if you come up with a really dope concept that, like, I didn't really think of when I was doing it at the time. But, like, I don't know.
But I feel like with rap, especially something that deals with heavy topics like this, I feel like a lot of it is based on the upbringing of a person. And I feel like when you kind of peel those layers back, there's a lot of like hidden subconscious things that shape it.
Absolutely.
Like, you might not think about it this way, but because you're brought up in this specific environment, this specific type of train of thought, everything kind of ties in together. And I feel like for me, as you know, having like maybe like a similar type of situation, it's like I'm finding a lot of things, even if you can't formulate it into words, you kind of like getting like you know that there's more meaning to this behind it. It's kind of like it's like a piece that maybe hits home for me, kind of. And you know, that's really ill at T, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Rap, I would say, is a very selfish art form. It is 100% selfish, and I'm not talking about selfish as in like me over you type thing. I'm talking selfish as in like it is born of the self. It is the artist's, or it should be the artist's outlook on what he's writing about. Like you can assume a role. You can say like, I'm writing this from this perspective, I'm writing this from that perspective. But a lot of things in rap are written in first person. You know what I'm saying? It's first person poetry. It's this person's take on this topic. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the topics as we discussed in SOSA, a lot of the topics have been around. Like this isn't the first time we're hearing a lot of these things. But what makes this artist's song dope is it's his take on it. It's his selfish take, or their selfish take on that concept. So that's what kind of lets that have its own life.
100%. And I feel like it kind of looking at it like that, it adds more value to it in a sense of like kind of being true to yourself, kind of being true to your own pen. And it kind of just brings, everybody can kind of bring their own thing, even though you're kind of playing around. It's like playing cards, man. You know what I'm saying? You can play 50 game of cards. It's never going to be the same game again. It's like a different piece.
Exactly.
You know? Kind of throw that back in there, IT. But yeah, I mean, thanks for joining us, TRP IT.
Thank you for having me.
Held it down for Lux Primus once again. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And super fire, super ill. You got the full 4-piece set on your page. Is there any other works coming soon from you? We can kind of direct the people, kind of checking it out.
So I mentioned this actually when I was on the first Life is a Freestyle webcast. We're working. Lux Primus is working on the whole barcodes take our metaphor and our implementation of the metaphor. So there are a few things that we are set to deliver, and I'm hoping again things kind of our schedules kind of align a little bit better this year than they did last. But yeah, you can look out for the barcodes thing, which again I'm hesitant to even talk about because I don't want people stealing our idea. I'm hoping it has some kind of an impact. It changes the game as much as the game has changed me. You know what I'm saying? So if people can kind of look out for that,
you know. And yeah, if any openings come through, holla at me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely, man.
Got to get the plug in real quick. You know. But yeah, I appreciate it so much, man. Take care. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for being a part of this. And you know what I'm saying? Stay safe out here, COVID. You know. And inshallah, we'll see you soon. Hopefully, once the traveling situation is open a little bit.
Exactly. We got to have that retreat number 3.
100%, bro. Listen, man, we got to make it happen. Kayla, take care, eh?
You too, man.
Assalamualaikum, my bro.
Make it smile.